Hey there, thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. It's Sunday the 27th of April. It's about 10 to 3 in the afternoon. It's a lovely day. It's 20 degrees. It's a bit cloudy, but the sun is out, and I have just had my Sunday lunch and I'm on the way to see my wife Liz in the hospital as usual. 16 months now that she's been in hospital. Got a bit worried last week because she said she had a very bad night's sleep one night and her oxygen saturation level dropped to 50%. Now the lowest I've ever logged it at was 67, and that's kind of like a death level, so I'm very worried about that. She needs more x-rays and things, and I honestly don't know where this is going to end. I had a very poor night's sleep last night. I would close my eyes and 20 minutes later I would wake up with a start every 20 minutes, and I would go into some weird surreal dream. Whenever I'm not well or whenever I've got things on my mind, which is most of the time to be honest with you, I kind of go into these dreams that are kind of like super technical in nature and lots of detail and lots of trials and tribulations to kind of surmount. And I don't remember the precise details. I just know, because I can remember from when I woke up, I just know that every dream I went into, I would be thrown into a totally different, unique, surreal situation, and then I would just wake up again, and then I would go back into another totally different, surreal situation that is unsolvable. And that was my whole night's sleep. So, not very good. I have got a lot on my mind at the moment. I've got a new client that I'm working for, and I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared out of my mind actually about screwing up this job, because there's a lot to do. There's a lot of focus on it. There's a lot of history, and I've got to try and keep it going, and I'm very, very, very worried about that. Quite intimidated by it all, if I'm honest with you. So, and also I had another bit of bad news last week. So I think this might have been partly because my wife went into hospital. My boss either realised or reinforced his perception that we had no critical illness cover where I work, and so we now have a critical illness policy as of the 1st of October 2024 that covers me and my children. It doesn't cover spouses, so Liz would never have been covered anyway, but even then it was a pre-existing condition, so she double wouldn't have been covered. But it covers children, and that includes Anthony with the age he's currently at. And his diagnosis of myotonic dystrophy came through on the 2nd of October 2024, a day after the policy started. Bearing in mind I didn't know until January that we even had a policy, so it's not like I knew about this policy coming online, it's just pure coincidence. So anyway, my boss and I kind of agreed that it would be worth putting a claim in, which basically would have amounted to a year's salary, even though I knew from the moment I put it in, and I even said to them, I think I might be wasting your time with this because you're going to exclude it on the basis that it was a pre-existing condition. And indeed, that's what they have done, on the basis that we asked for the DNA test on the 26th of September, 4 days before the policy started. Particularly galling to have missed out on the proceeds of that claim by 4 days, but I've been insurance claims for 34 years, and I was a frontline claims handler for 19 years, and the decision is technically correct. What can I say? To argue it would go against my very core being, right? Because it's the correct decision, unfortunately for me. So, thus goes, as ever, my ongoing luck in life. And something else to dwell on. Not good, is it? Wondering if I'll ever get a break, to be honest with you. But there you go. So that's what's been happening in life. I hope you guys have been enjoying my Doctor Who episode reviews and my Andor episode reviews. Certainly a good time for TV sci-fi at the moment. I decided a long time ago, during the pandemic in fact, that I would probably never go to a cinema ever again. Because it's full of people, right? I think I am becoming borderline agoraphobic. I don't really like leaving the house or the safety of the car. So there you go. I've been spending too much money again, as usual. I've bought a DJI Power 500, ostensibly so I can, the problem is, right, if I want to go and fly a drone, usually the weather's crap, and if you charge up your drones, after a few days, they discharge to about 60%, which is an allegedly safe level. So you pick up your drone to go and fly, and of course it's not exactly at full power, and you can't keep the batteries topped up all the time. I mean, you could, but it would ruin them. So I've bought a power bank, which means that in theory I could scoop up my drones, start charging them whilst I'm flying, so I could, have one battery in a drone and actually be charging the others in the field, so to speak. Then I bought a cable that meant I could charge this thing from the car. So I can charge this power bank from the mains or from the car. It's massive, this thing. It's about 8 kilos in weight. It's a 500 kilowatt or something. Don't quote me on the numbers. Anyway, and then I went and bought a solar panel for it, so that I can also connect this cable up to it from the solar panel, so that in theory I could charge this thing anywhere. And it's just, I've justified it to myself for the drone, B, for Liz's medical equipment, for if we're ever out and about, if she ever manages to leave the hospital, and C, because in case we have a war, right? And I think I've just, I'm massively overthinking everything. I am going insane. I am going mad. So there you go. That's what's happening at the moment. So, oh, woe is me and all that. Oh well. I don't really have control over anything at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, before Easter, some guys came out to look at the moisture levels in my floor caused by the leaking pipe. So there is some good news. Although, having said that word, something will now go wrong, because that's what's happened every time in my life so far. So I am loath to kind of say that, but they think that the leak has stopped. They think the house has started to dry out by itself. And the weird staining in my kitchen floor is because there's an ever such a slight incline in my kitchen floor, and the water has gathered down there and has reacted with the glue in the lino. That's why I've got the weird staining. They're recommending a pressure test in the system. They're recommending a couple of weeks of drying, and then they can reinstate the downstairs of the house. And I'll have to get the lino done. But part of this is going to have to be my own expense. I'm going to have to get the pipes rerouted away from those underground pipes at my own expense. So lots of things to think about. But, the cursed saga of the cursed kitchen just goes on and on and on and on and on. There you go. I've got too much on my mind as usual, and I'm scared out of my mind about this new job, and I'm scared out of my mind by what's going to happen to Liz, and nothing seems to be going my way at the moment, really. Sometimes I have to wonder why I bother. I'm not really sure why I bother. I'd like a month off. A paid month off, just so I can play video games and just be at one with the universe. That's not going to happen. I'd like to go outside and fly my drones around. I'd like to do many things. I'd like to be a bit less uptight. I'd like things to go my way for a change. I'd like the world to stop picking on me, I guess. But we don't all get what we want. Hey, I'll try and get Liz to do some talking once I get to the hospital. Say hello to the boys and girls.
Hello, boys and girls.
Wave to the boys and girls. Tell us what you've been doing.
This week I've had an optician's appointment, an ECG, bloods taken, all in the space of 4 days. Opticians and blood. What day was that? What day did I have the opticians? Was that Thursday or Wednesday?
I don't remember.
I think it was Wednesday. I had physio Tuesday and Thursday. Shower on Friday. Opticians Wednesday. ECG Thursday, I think. And bloods Wednesday, probably. Took them 2 goes in my feet to get blood. Nurse said I was the hardest person she'd ever come across to get blood from. So that's exciting. Other than that, I don't think that's it. My days don't really change. No new visitors. The same visitors every week, which is greatly appreciated. Would like to see 1 or 2 more people who are new or who are different or who I haven't seen for a long time. That would be nice. My hospital appointment has been moved forward. I'm being referred for an X-ray. ECG was for atrial fibrillation review. And at some point I have to have a meeting with the doctor to decide whether I can drive or not. But there you go. The doctor came on Tuesday afternoon to listen to me because my trachea was changed last Saturday and it was particularly grotesque. There. That's it. Hydro tomorrow. That's it. Not a very exciting time, really. Anything else?
You tell me.
Have I missed something out?
What happened in the week with your O2 levels?
Oh, one night they dropped down to about 50, but they soon climbed back up, so there wasn't anything to worry about. It wasn't there. If it hadn't gone back up, I would have worried, but it went straight back up. Started climbing. Got to 80, 82, and then the nurse came in and gave me oxygen, I think. Well, I had oxygen one night anyway. Might have been there 2 nights, can't Can't remember.
Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Say goodbye to the boys and girls.
Goodbye, boys and girls.
Well, that's another visit to Liz out of the way, and another weekend nearly over. Just my weekends seem to go so quickly, and then my working weeks just seem to drag on. I know this is a cliche, and I know that probably everyone feels the same, but I can't believe how fast time's going lately, you know? What's slightly frustrating for me is that with Liz away in hospital and I'm at home on my own, which is fine, I can cope being on my own, but obviously she's not at home. She's having to cope with being there for a very long time. We can't do the normal things that we used to do together anymore. So, and I'm talking about just chilling out at home watching telly. So I'll give you an example. We were big fans of the series You on Netflix, and I believe the new series has started, and we can't watch that together. The problem is if I do sit and watch an episode, so we were watching the latest series of, I think it's series 4, I could be wrong, of Only Murders in the Building. Yes, I'm pretty certain it's series 4. But the problem is this is a me problem, right? The problem is that I was falling asleep during every episode on Liz's bed in the hospital, and we haven't finished watching it. So it would be exactly the same thing if we were to start watching You again. So I've just told her just to watch it on her own. The other slight problem is that obviously Netflix have massively clamped down on, you know, people sharing passwords and stuff. Now, I've never shared my Netflix password, but here's the thing. I have devices at home, and I have Liz's TV in her hospital room as part of my Netflix household, and that's just about acceptable as far as Netflix are concerned. But then my daughter Alice, who spends most of the time away from home, she also watches Netflix on her iPad, and as far as Netflix are concerned, that's just about stretching credulity, I think. So the net result of this is I can't actually watch Netflix at home, because if I do, I will log out either Liz or my daughter, and so I'm the one that's paying for Netflix, but I can't watch it because Liz needs all the entertainment she can in hospital, and I'm not going to begrudge my daughter watching it when she's with her boyfriend. So yeah, I can't watch it at home anymore, which is a bit of a bummer. So I can't watch this latest series of You either anyway. Certainly not with Liz. So, you know, I realise these are first world problems, but it's just kind of the normality of everyday life is kind of what's missing, you know. And that's just one of those things. So, at home, I don't go anywhere. I don't leave the house really, unless I need to go to work. So I have this new client. They're based in Wimbledon. So I was in Wimbledon Wednesday, Thursday last week. Haven't seen a single Womble yet. Don't know what. I drove in because I went to visit Liz on the way home from Wimbledon. So it's about an hour and a half from the bunker to the address in Wimbledon. Then it's about an hour's drive, maybe an hour 10 to see Liz, and then it's an hour to get home. So it's a bit of a round trip, but you know, I'm out anyway. I think the arrangement's going to be that I'm in Wimbledon every Thursday. So that's okay. Don't know where I was going with that point really. But yeah, I leave the house to go to work and to visit Liz. That's it really. It's a few days to payday, so bit short of money at the moment, as ever, having to eke out the food that I've got at home for the next couple of days and the petrol in my car. But hey ho, you don't listen to this or watch this to hear me complaining, or maybe you do, I don't know. If you do, then please let me know. Send me a postcard to the usual address. Don't have a usual address, or whatever. Email me, put a comment on a video. I don't know what to do. There's a lot of cars coming this way. This is Selborne, by the way, where apparently Gilbert White's house is. I don't know who Gilbert White is. So anyway, it's very, 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 very narrow roads here. I'll show you. And it's 20 mile an hour limit through here. 20 mile an hour limits are becoming ever more common. I believe in Wales, all residential roads are 20 miles an hour. I could be wrong. Feel free to send me a postcard to the usual address if I am wrong. This is Selborne. This corner here in particular, very tight. So you can see why they've reduced the speed to 20 miles an hour. And you can see, I don't know if you saw back on that corner there, I think there must have been multiple impacts on that building during its life. Another thing that I do like to do when I'm driving is driving is music time, right? Or podcast time. I listen a lot, so I have a playlist on my phone on iTunes called Driving, and it is, at the time of recording this, it is 642 tracks in length. Every single song on it is an absolute banger as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very proud of this playlist that I've put together, but there's a couple of caveats to that. And these caveats are because I hate myself, and I hate myself more than anyone else in the world could ever, or has ever, or will ever hate me. I absolutely loathe and despise myself, and because I hate myself, I have put 2 tracks into my driving playlist that are bound to annoy me when they come up. The first of these, it's not a track I dislike, but it's a track that starts off incredibly loudly, and that is Revolution by the Beatles. It starts off with this incredibly loud guitar riff. So basically, every time, and I play my driving playlist on shuffle, right? So, as I go, every time I start the playlist, and I have played it all the way through a few times, but when I start the playlist, there's a 1 in 642 chance that the song is going to be Revolution by the Beatles. And obviously the chances of that song appearing go up the further we get through the playlist. So then it becomes a 1 in 641 chance, and then a 1 in 640 chance, etc., etc. Now here's the risk, right? Is if I've been listening to a song just now at like high volume, and suddenly the next song commences without warning, which is Revolution by the Beatles, I could blow my own ears off of my head, and this is the risk that I have built in to playing my playlist. The other song on my playlist that I will be actually obliged to listen to the entire way through is my most hated song in the universe ever. And no, the song is not We Built This City by Starship, which I learnt the other day is apparently the most hated song ever. I really like that song. I don't know why it's hated, but anyway, I do know why it's hated because I've watched a video telling me why it's hated, but I still don't hate it. I actually really enjoy it, and I unironically have it in my playlist. No, the other song that I have in my playlist that is there deliberately because I hate myself is my most hated song of all time, and that is the song Mary's Prayer. I fucking loathe that song. I find it's just horrible. I can't explain my absolute disdain and utter hatred of the putridness of that particular song. But because I hate it, I've put it in my driving playlist. So go figure, right? I hate myself so much, I have put my most hated song into a playlist that I heavily rely on when I am out in the car and visiting my wife in hospital and returning from visiting my wife in hospital and or driving to whichever work location I might be going to. Go figure. So if there are any world-class psychiatrists watching this, any insights you can give me as to why I would self-sabotage myself in this way would be greatly appreciated. And I think I'm going to stop talking there because it's turned into a little bit of a rant as opposed to a ramble. This is, of course, Total Ramblings, or maybe I should have named it Total Rants. I don't know. Rants rhymes a bit with pants. Yeah, now I'm just talking rubbish. Hey, thank you very much for watching this episode of Total Ramblings. I hope you've enjoyed listening to me waffling on. I hope you've enjoyed hearing some nice words from Liz. Thank you so much for watching. Please tune in for the next episode. Could it be a life update? I don't know. Could it be a Lego episode? I don't know. Will it be a Doctor Who review? I don't know. Will it be an unboxing? I don't know. Will it be some kind of tech review? I don't know. Will it be a drone video? I don't know. Will it be an Andor episode review? I don't know. Will it be a book reading? No, probably not. I think I've stopped doing those. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please do all the usual YouTubey stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. And I will see you in the next episode, whenever that may be and whatever it might be about. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.